My mother was very good at giving us projects every summer. And I know one summer I had a cross stitch to do. Now this is hand sewing. And I had to do so much every day before I went out and played. And I remember sitting on the hot driveway with my red PF flyers on, going, everybody else is playing and I'm stitching this stupid thing. But it got done. And when it was done, she framed it. And I was so proud of it. And it was so Midwestern, it said, seems the harder I work, the luckier I get. It's kind of been my theme all my life. And so from there, handwork was really something that I enjoyed doing. And even in high school, I knew I wanted to be involved in art, to be an artist, but it needed to involve fine craftsmanship. There's just something about that that's always appealed to me. And so when I went to college, I pursued art, of course, but textile design and jewelry. So here again, it's that craftsmanship. But I did have some fabulous home ec teachers and some fabulous art teachers along the way. And I think the first sewing with a machine I did was in junior high school. And that's when I started to explore fabrics, really in general. And that was a time when department stores all had fabric departments in them too. And so I think that re-sparked my mom's interest in sewing as well. So we always hit the fabric stores and that's when that fabric lust really started to evolve. And so Mom made, some of our clothes, not because she had to, but because she just thought it was kind of fun. And Mom's a perfectionist and Dad's an engineer, so I think those genes I got those in buckets. So that's basically when it all began. I started quilting on a Sears Kenmore that I got when I got married. And I used that for many, many years. I mean, I didn't take any classes. I saw Nancy Crow's quilt on the cover of American Craft. And I thought, this is it. No question about it. It had everything I wanted, the craftsmanship, the engineering, the scale, the color, the fabric, everything. I just oh, well, why didn't I think of this before? And so I just jumped in. All I needed was a sewing machine and fabric. I had that already. So I used this sewing machine, and of course, my kids were small then. And I started strip piecing in the beginning. And it was easier to quilt it in a straight line and then in a backwards line, in a straight line, and I had to hold the button down to go backwards. So at one point, I would have my kids stand there, okay, push the button down. Okay, let go, push down, let go. So they helped a lot with my first pieces. And I got so serious about this quilting that my sister and my parents chipped in and got me an 1130. Oh my gosh, it was so fabulous. To have the right tool for the job was just amazing. And, I've been on the team ever since. And I really have no problem talking about Bernina at all, because it really is what I use. It's what I am familiar with, and it does everything I want it to do. And one of my machines, every time you turned it on, and I turn on my machine a lot, we'll go dun 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 dun, and the whole house just would break down laughing every time. It's like, there she goes again. But yeah, that's when we began. When I got my first Bernina, still early on in my quilting days, I didn't really know what features that I would want in a machine. Little did I know that the things in that machine really spoke my language. I like a very graphic, hard kind of look in my quilts. That's just the way they are. So, I rely on the satin stitch all the time, and it's the most mundane mechanical stitch on the planet. And I always tell my classes, I don't want my quilts to look like old lady Christmas sweatshirts, if you know what I mean. Just mechanical, very mechanical. But on every Bernina I've owned, and it's a requirement now, I have the stitch width knob that I actually turn as I sew so that I can make that stitch thinner and fatter and thinner and fatter as I go, and hopefully make it more organic, because that's really what my quilts are about as well. So just starting with that one little feature, it's something I use all the time. And of course there's other things, and I do use a lot of decorative stitches, and I think people are afraid of those sometimes because they can look mechanical. But if you use them thoughtfully, consciously, and you find those stitches that speak your language, that's what it's all about. Is this a joyous quilt? Is this a mournful quilt? It helps you decide. The attitude makes you choose the stitches that you're going to use. Little ducks just don't cut it as far as I'm concerned. They're not my style. It's in there if I might need it. But even those you can take out of context, you can stretch them and squeeze them, and they're not little ducks anymore. They're something else. So I really do enjoy having that extra craftsmanship, the extra motifs that I can add with my machine, because embroidery is the first layer of icing on the cake. And then there's your quilting, and you can use your decorative stitches. I do use them for that all the time. So just a few of the ways that I use that machine. And just like any machine that's smarter than you are, you learn new things about it all the time, and you utilize it better and better and better as time goes on. And that's fun too, just exploring to see what new things that you didn't even know you could do before. First of all, it means a wonderful product. It's something that I know that I can really depend upon. If I push that button, it's really, really going to work. And being a teacher for so long, it also means my community, because a lot of my friends are also Bernina people, and we can talk that language together. And I don't know, it's a basic part of me these days. I think the machine, all of the Bernina machines that I have used, each one, because each one, of course, is better and better and better. What I'm really enjoying these days is the fact that it becomes more user-friendly all the time. And keeps me awake at night thinking about the possibilities, especially of machine embroidery. And as a designer, the fact that you can take your own design and digitize it and use it for yourself. That just, to me, is a thrilling event to have happen. And every time a new machine comes out, it's a little simpler and a little simpler and a little more user-friendly. And that means I'm getting closer and closer to not have to be awake every night thinking about the possibilities that I can actually do them now. And that's really a wonderful thing, I think. Being a Bernina Ambassador, it makes me very proud when I can say that I'm a Bernina Ambassador, because I'm part of a company that's always stood behind me personally. I don't have any reservations whatsoever saying that I sew on a Bernina. When I teach, I always refer to the Bernina feet, because those are the ones I know. Open-toed embroidery. For a Bernina, that's a 20, It just rolls right off of my tongue. And it just makes me proud. It gives me confidence to know that it's just true to me. It's where I am. It's what I use, and it does the best job for me.